Hello students, I'm going to make a video here to help you review for your final for the first semester. I'm going to try and make it in two videos. The first video I plan on doing pages 1 through 8. The second video is going to be the rest of them. If you recall, I skipped 15 and 16. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I'm not going to do every single question. I'm going to try to do a few of the most important ones. So if you still have some more questions, be sure to ask me in class. Draw two lines. Make sure that name two lines. Make sure that when you name a line, you need to have the arrows on both ends of your symbol there. So WT and AR, just pick two letters that are on the same line. I could have done AC and WC and CT and whatnot. Just make sure it has the right symbol. Draw and label an opposite pair of rays. So a pair of opposite rays, which means that they will make a straight line. These are not opposite rays. Don't do like that. So when you label them, it starts at F and goes through H. Remember that a ray has an endpoint, the starting endpoint, and then goes through the second point and has an arrow on the other end. So FH and FG. Okay, name a plane that contains AC. When you name a plane, you should put the word plane in front of it. So I'm naming a plane with AC and pick a third letter, preferably one that's not on the same line, so like ACT. Or I could say plane ACW. You could say ACR, but just be a little bit better if it wasn't. Let me scroll down a bit. What else we got? Find a length of BC. So basically, this is a question that has to do with segment addition postulate. Well, I guess that one isn't. The second one. I think you can find the length of BC. It's just going to be 7. Okay, this one has to do with segment addition postulate. 4x plus 8 plus 27 equals 6x. The part plus the other part equals the whole. You figure out what x is and plug it back in to find CE. Okay, let me know if you have questions during class. This one's very similar. They're doing traveling, and R is the midpoint, as it says. It's the midpoint of the trip, so that you know that SR is going to be the same as RJ. So they've already traveled 55 miles. If this is the midpoint, that means that it's half of the whole thing, which is 360. So it's 180 on one side, 180 on the other side. 55 take away from 180 is how much more they have to go, this part, from XR. So XR will equal whatever this number is. I think it's 125 probably. I want to double check my math there. All right, next question. You got another one that has to do with segment addition postulate. Dang it, went too far. K is the midpoint of JL, so you draw yourself a picture. Draw a segment JL. K is in the middle. JK is 6x and KL is 3x plus 3. Because it's the midpoint, you should set these two equal to each other, and then you can figure out what x is. I think it's 1 if I remember right. Plug it back in, you can figure out the length of JL. Okay. This question says name all the angles. Technically, this isn't quite an angle because that line's a curve. But if you were to name that one, it would be angle OAB. Or you could just name it angle A because there's no confusion. Okay, as opposed to this angle right here, if I just named it angle O, that wouldn't be good enough because I don't know if I'm talking about the left side. You don't know if I'm talking about the left side or the right side here. So if I was talking about the left angle, it'd be AO, O being in the middle, B. Or angle COB, that would be this angle over there. Okay, so if there's no confusion, you can just name it like angle C, or you could use all 3 letters. If there is some confusion, you have to use 3 letters, with the middle letter being the angle we're talking about. Find the measure of angle BOD. So if I was figuring out the whole thing from here all the way to that one, to D, I'd be 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, all the way over here to this looks like 125. Okay, I need to take away this amount, so I'm going to subtract all that, and that'll just leave me with BOD, this part. Which, if you do the math, you'll do 125 minus, this looks like 35, and the answer should be 90. So this is 35, this section is 35, the rest of this is 90. Alright, let's go to the next question. Don't think I'm moving fast enough. Let's see. Measure of IJK is 57 degrees. 57 degrees is IJK. This is angle addition postulate. IJL is 20 degrees. Find LJK. I'm sorry, I did something wrong. IJL is 20 degrees. This part was 20 degrees. The whole thing is 57 degrees. So you take 57 minus 20, you'll get this part, which is 37. Angle addition postulate. This angle plus this angle equal the whole thing. Same thing here. This bisects. Draw a picture. It bisects A, B. I'm sorry, that's not right. A, B, C, and it's being bisected. It splits it right down the middle. If it splits it down the middle, that means this one's congruent to that one. ABD, this is D, is 7x minus 1. DBC is 4x plus 8. Put those two equal to each other because this bisects. That means this angle is congruent to this one. Put them equal to each other, figure out what x is, plug it back in to figure out ABD. Find the measure of the complement. Complement is two angles, complementary of two angles that add up to be 90. So the complement is the other angle. So take that, subtract them. Same idea here, find the measure of the supplement. If this is one of your angles, there's two angles that should add up to be 180. So take this and subtract 180. Make sure that you subtract it from 180. Make sure you put this in parentheses. Okay, because that's one entire angle being subtracted from 180. What else we got? I think that's it for that page. Tell whether angle 2 and angle 1 are adjacent. Adjacent means that they share a side. So these two are adjacent, they share a side. But they are not adjacent and form a linear pair. That means they would share a side and make 180 degrees, like this. This angle and this angle together share a side and they make 180 degrees. Linear pair means a straight line makes 180 degrees. Because we're still missing this angle right here, it doesn't go to straight lines. So angle 1 and angle 2 are not a linear pair, but they are adjacent. Angle 2 must be 2 degrees more than 3 times its complement. This one I figure was going to be the one that causes a lot of issues. I've already pre-worked some of it out. If I can find my work. This is it. So it's 2 degrees more than 3 times its complement. This is the angle. This is its complement because you take 90 and subtract that angle. And so 2 degrees more than 3 times the complement. This part is the complement, the part that's circled. So 2 degrees more than 3 times the complement. You put the two angles they're equal to each, x equals 2 degrees more than 3 times the complement. So I set up the equation right here, I solve and do the math. So x equals 68. That means that 90 minus 68, which will make 22, is the complement. So this is 68. Its complement is 22. 68 is 2 degrees more than 3 times the complement. For example, 22, 3 times that, 66. 2 degrees more than that is 68. 68 is 2 degrees more than 3 times the complement. Okay, hopefully that helps. Okay, so next question. Billiard ball bounces off the sides of a rectangular billiards table in a way, get this out the way, in a way such that angle 1 and angle 3 are congruent. Angle 4 and angle 6 are also congruent, and angle 3 and angle 4 are complementary. So measure of angle 1 is 26.5 degrees, and find the measure of angle 3, 4, and 5. So you know that 1 and 3 are the same thing. You also know that 4 and 6 are going to be the same thing. These two are going to be the same thing. Because this makes 180 degrees, a straight line, you should be able to figure out this. Take 180 minus that, and whatever left is this. Okay? This is a right triangle right here. Right triangle. So you got that angle, you got 90 degrees. So 90 plus this, and take them from 180 to figure out angle 2. Once you know angle 2, you also know angle 6. You're supposed to figure out angle 5. So once again, these three angles, 4, 5, and 6, are along a straight line. 180 minus this, minus 4, minus 6, whatever they are, will give you what angle 5 is. I'm not going to work it all out. I think you can figure that out. Next question. Name all vertical angles in this. I keep doing that and I don't know why. All vertical angles, that are vertical are ones that are directly across from each other. So JLM and angle KLN are vertical angles. You got this angle right here, MLN and JLK are vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent to each other. Find the perimeter and the area of the figure. If you're going to find the area, you would do 1/2 times base times height for a triangle. So it's 1/2 times 6 and times its base. So this is base times its height. That's 3 times x plus 8. So it's 3x plus 24. That's all you can do. You can't actually figure out the number. You don't know what x is. You don't have enough information. If you're going to do perimeter, you just add up 6x plus 8x plus 8 plus 6. And all of that will give you perimeter. You can't actually get a number. You're just going to have to simplify a little bit. 7x plus 14 equals the perimeter. Okay. I did it again. The rectangles on a quilt are 2 inches wide and 3 inches long. This is a pretty tough question. The perimeter of each rectangle is made by a pattern of red thread and so forth. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'll give you a basic idea of what you can do to figure it out. Give me just a second. Okay, so here's a picture of a quilt with 30 squares on it. If you imagine that you were, this was a 2 by 3, as it says, then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 3-inch sections, and then you're going to have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 6, you're going to have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay, the same idea is going to happen with going the other direction. So let's say you were doing the 2-inch ones, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and all that. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-inch sections. And you're going to do that how many times? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay? These all be 2-inch sections. I know it's not drawn very well, but hopefully you get the idea. And then so that would take care of all of your edges of each one of the squares. Figure out what this number is. I don't know what it is. 3 times 36, whatever that is. And add it with whatever this number is. 2 times 35, that's 70. I think this is 108. So 178, you might want to double check my math, but I think 178 inches might work out. Alright, we're running low on time, so I'm going to try and hurry up. Circumference questions I think you can figure out on your own. Find the coordinates of midpoint. To figure out midpoint, you need to do, midpoint is the average of the two x's. So add them up, divide by 2. And then, sorry, that should be a comma, average of the two y's. Add them up and divide by 2. Okay, and the midpoint is a point on the graph. So this is the x coordinate, and then this will end up being the y coordinate. Add up the x's, divide by 2. Add up the y's, divide by 2. Let's scroll on down. If you're going to do m is the midpoint of this, and so forth, you can figure that out. Find CD and EF, then determine this. So without the symbol above it, we're talking about the length of CD. So to find the length or the distance, you're doing the distance formula. Find the distance between x values, which is x1 minus x2 squared. Find the distance between the y values, which is y1 minus y2 squared. So it's how far apart are they squared, how far apart are they squared, add them up, take the square root. It's basically Pythagorean theorem. Okay, a squared plus b squared. Take the square root, and this is c, basically. We're about to run out of time. I only have 15 minutes on this video, so I'll have to continue on the next video. Let's see how much more we have to cover.